Bang, bang, bird gang. What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
All right, I think we are all set. What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 570 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the City of Vineland. It's KB and Matt coming at you from Underground Studios. If you're watching live on Twitch or if you're watching this in video form on YouTube, you're seeing myself and Foco came through with the care package. I got the Phillies overalls. Shout out to Foco. You can get your own. The link is in the description. We'll talk more about Foco later on in the show. But before we get into everything, we're going to talk Phillies. Big series win over the Braves. We're going to talk some Eagles. We'll talk some Union. And it's our Survivor 45 preview show. Very excited. Survivor back next week. So we may have some scheduling changes because half hour added to Survivor. Might start the show a little earlier during Survivor season to accommodate so we can watch the show, get our takes in, and fully dive into Survivor season 45. But we'll let you guys know about that. That's why you got to follow us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. We're on all of them. Underground PHI and Facebook.com/Underground Sports PHI. You can follow Matt on Twitter at Matt Castorina. You can follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. It goes a long way for helping more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia and our entire catalog of podcasts. Let us know that you're listening to the show. Let us know what you want to hear from us, because we do read the reviews as long as they're positive. So go leave a 5-star rating or review on Apple or Spotify. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week. You get full video episodes of every podcast on our network. You get clips, shorts, live streams, original video content, all on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Smash that like button, ring the bell icon, and comment down below your thoughts on everything Matt and I discuss on tonight's show. And big thank you to the City of Vineland for being our presenting sponsor. City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. And the calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. Through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. Matt, what's going on, man?
I'm living the dream.
Got your broadcast career underway this week to coincide with the podcast. Matt's joined the Vineland Public Broadcasting family.
Yeah, call me John Madden.
Look at that. Back in the booth we were today, and we'll be back at it on Friday as well. But back at it today, we're the Philadelphia Phillies, the Fightins. It's brought to you by our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company, the best merch partners we could have ever asked for. If you want that go-to Philly sports merch, whether it's Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, Union, or Underground Sports Philadelphia merch, they've got you on the hookup, and you will stand out in the crowd with their exclusive designs for all. And if you want to support us, go get your Underground Sports Philadelphia merch. Every podcast on our network has merch, and F1 merch is on the way, so keep an eye out for that. But if you want to stand out in the crowd, stand out at the bar with your friends. If you're going to Citizens Bank Park, Lincoln Financial Field, Subaru Park, big one against LAFC this coming weekend. Of course, the PLL Championship game also at Subaru Park on Sunday. Go to phiapparel.co, check out all the merch that they have. And when you go to checkout, when you got everything in your cart, use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off any and all merch orders. It's the most effective and direct way to support everything we're doing. So go get your merch. Tag us, tweet at us when you get it. We'll repost it. We want to see where you're wearing your merch at. phiapparel.co, code underground for 10% off your merch orders. Phillies get the job done, Matt. They take 2 out of 3 down in Atlanta, win 4 out of 6 on the road. It's looking good. The magic number down to 7, and we are that much closer to Red October, Volume 2 of this era of Phillies baseball being in full effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we've talked about is the potential for them to lock up that wild card spot, and that means you can maybe set the rotation a little better and maybe give guys some rest, but go in with your strongest available lineup into the playoffs. And this past series, really good performance against the Braves. Like we said, could be a potential playoff opponent if you make it out of the wild card round. You could be facing this team again in the postseason, and obviously, Braves are a very good team, but the Phillies over the last few years have played them very well, generally speaking, especially when you consider kind of the difference in quality between those teams in the regular season. So that's great. I think it's a great opportunity for the Phillies now to, with the rest of September, to really lock in on this and finish in that top wild card spot and have that home field advantage for the wild card round. That is a huge thing for the Phillies because they're obviously such a good team at home.
3.5 game lead in the wild card right now, and if the season ended today, it'd be the Arizona Diamondbacks coming to Citizens Bank Park for the wild card series. I still don't know how I feel in terms of opponent, if I'd rather it be the Diamondbacks or I'd rather it be the Cubs. I think both matchups present difficulties across the board. The Diamondbacks have stellar, top-tier pitching, with Zach Gallen. Merrill Kelly's been great for them this year too. And then the Cubs, obviously, we know they can hit the ball. And if you bring that Chicago Cubs team to a hitter-friendly ballpark like Citizens Bank Park, you're going to have to be on your A game. But their pitching has kind of fallen off a bit here towards the end of the season, and it could be something the Phillies could take advantage of. Are you in one boat or the other just yet?
The problem is I remember those Diamondbacks games early in the season being really high scoring and a lot of activity, and I just I don't want that in my playoff experience. We handled the Cubs pretty well already this season, I think, and they've been slumping a little bit. Diamondbacks have gotten hot because we've been talking so much about could be the Cubs, could be the Brewers. We were talking about the Cubs maybe even making up ground in the division. That seems to certainly be kind of out of the question at this point. So I'd still rather the Cubs. I think that'd be the best lineup, for us to face, all things considered, because I think Diamondbacks have just as a potent of an offense too. And like you said, those 2 top-end starters, I think, are better than anything Chicago has, overall quality. And, you're hopeful that you don't have to go beyond 2 games. But, having those 2 as your starters, not that the Phillies don't also have top quality at the top end of their rotation, but, yeah, I think I'd rather play the Cubs.
And don't look now. The Miami Marlins have found their stride once again. They swept the Braves before they played the Phillies. They're a half game back of the Cubs now, and the Cincinnati Reds are a game and a half back of the Cubs as well. The wild card is far from being decided, oddly enough, even though, some of these teams have felt like their seasons were kind of coming to an end and they were finally, coming back down to earth. But the Marlins and Reds still very much alive, and the San Francisco Giants are like clinging on to their final hopes. They're sitting at 500. Doesn't really seem realistic for them to get in, but it does still feel like, it's a 5-team race with the Phillies leading the pack for the time being, and hopefully that continues. We'll keep an eye on everything that happens with the Marlins and the Mets. We're kind of hoping for, oddly enough, a Mets win to knock the Marlins down, help the Phillies' magic number continue to decrease and get closer to being clinched. But right now, Phillies at 83 and 69. Nice. Do they get to 90 wins? That's the big question. Their preseason over-under win total was 88.5. Need 6 more wins to eclipse that. 7 overall to hit the 90 win mark. 7 more games are against the New York Mets and 3 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Can they get to 90 wins?
Yeah, going 7-3 on that stretch is definitely possible. I think, though, you'll probably, because the Phillies will more than likely, again, just have to
hopefully
put the qualifiers on it, more than likely clinch the playoffs during that time. I feel like it's very common for a team to clinch the playoffs in the next game to, it's just there's a big emotional relief, and I think, it's kind of natural to maybe let your foot off the gas a little bit. So, and hopefully we're not doing a thing where we're like second to last game again this year, kind of sort of sweating it out. I'd like to have it wrapped up sooner than later. I think they certainly have the ability, between their own, ability and the talent that they're going to be facing, two pretty poor teams in Pittsburgh and the Mets. So I do think they can, but I think they'll settle around 88. I think 88, 89, I think is much more realistic.
The big, I think, takeaway from this final game against the Braves today was this Braves team is beatable, guys. Like, 2 of those 4 games that you lost at home against the Braves, you could have and should have easily won. They went to extra innings and, shouldn't have even gotten there. You should have been able to win those and take 3 out of 4. I find it funny, the Braves, for whatever reason, they go on these monstrous runs over the last 6-7 years and have been the best team in baseball this year record-wise. Yet the Phillies find a way to derail them, get them off their mark, and show that they are a mortal team and they are not this, indestructible force. And the Phillies just find a way to beat them. Nick Castellanos, especially, both offensively and defensively, the last, almost calendar year now, makes the big defensive play in the postseason, makes a huge play today to catch that ball in foul territory, sends it home, sends the game 2 extra innings, hit 2 home runs today. Call your families, call your loved ones. Something could be on the horizon, but I just find it hilarious that the Phillies are this team that can just put this, giant cog in the Braves, stampede towards what everybody is already doing, what they did for the Braves and Dodgers last year and crowning them, World Series champions.
Yeah, I mean, put that play today on his Gold Glove highlight reel because just amazing awareness on it. Just
Rawlings, we're looking at you.
Truly one of the plays of all time. Over the last 16 games, Atlanta's rotation is 4-6, 6.87 ERA, allowing 86 hits and 59 walks in 77 and a third innings. So we know offensively, this team is very good. They obviously a team you can't take lightly at all in that regard. But like you said, I don't think there is even between the Dodgers and the Braves, I don't feel that there's a team that is just, and there never is in baseball. We've experienced this ourselves. You can be amazing in the regular season, totally dominant, but all it takes is just 2-3 bad games, in the playoffs, and even just 2 or 3 plays to kind of go the wrong way for you, just a little bit of bounce or luck. So for me, I think, would the Braves be favored in that series? Sure, obviously, but I do think the Phillies were not favored in really any of their series last year. So, and they still made it all the way to the World Series. Playoff baseball is just like that, and I think it's like we said, we talked about these Phillies and that they're kind of the annoying team that we always hated. They're emulating a little bit like the Giants and Cardinals from when the Phillies were, great, and that, you come up against them and think just because you have more wins that you should be better, but you consider too, like, this division is likely, potentially, going to have 3 playoff teams in it. That's a strong division, all things considered.
Back-to-back years too.
Right. I mean, I know obviously the Nationals are not great and the Mets have taken a step back this year, but you look around just baseball in general, it's just still one of the more deep divisions that you have, especially in the NL. Especially, I would say that this is top to bottom. I would say the best division in the NL. So, yeah, I think for me, I'm happy to see their performance against the Braves, and like we've said, they've played them pretty well. Not even just this year, even going back the past few seasons. So I believe that they can beat them, but it's all going to be about beating that wild card team. You don't want to lose sight of the fact that you still have to win a short series to get to potentially even the Braves. It could be the Dodgers.
And somebody who's more than likely going to be pitching in that 3-game series pitched today, and arguably one of his best starts of the season. Aaron Nola pitching the way he did today against the Braves was such a good sign. And I'm not going to say Aaron Nola's back because, we've seen him have this roller coaster of a season this year. But to see him perform the way he did, go 6 strong innings against the Braves, I think that's a huge confidence boost for him with the season that he's had. And I think that gives everyone around him the confidence to know that he can go out in a playoff series again, pitch quality innings for this team, and help them win, hopefully, in game 2 of a wild card series, clinch a series to go back to the NLDS.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm excited. I'm excited for playoff baseball.
I love playoff baseball, man. And
Nothing
we talked about this a little bit last year because the Phillies were finally back in it. It just feels different when you have a rooting interest for playoff baseball.
Absolutely. You live and die on every pitch.
It is like, it's the most agonizing yet most like fulfilling feeling when playoff baseball rolls around. Like you said, you live and die with every pitch, and I'm excited for, this time around we're going to be hopefully hosting the wild card round, so at least 2 games at Citizens Bank Park to kick things off for the playoffs, which is going to be a wild time, especially, if the Eagles keep rolling and you have that crossover again and have the Union still playing very well. So things are looking good in September and October in Philadelphia. But let's get to the NL East and MLB run differentials. It's brought to you by our pals over at FOCO, who reached out when I said, hey, I'll wear the Phillies overalls that they wore on the road trip every single live pod for the rest of the season. If you send me a pair. And they lived up to the promise. I got them on right now. They are super comfortable. FOCO based right in New Jersey, so that's also very cool. And their passion for passionate fans has never changed since their journey began all the way back in 1998. They've always been a community of fans with a shared goal of helping people let their inner fan shine like a beacon of awesome. FOCO is a leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise with a product line that includes apparel, accessories, toys, collectibles, novelty items, and more. With major sports and entertainment licenses at their disposal, along with a powerful infrastructure, a dedicated team, and a broad variety of products, their company is reaching new heights every day. Shout out Jason and Travis Kelsey. FOCO's success is directly related to their ability to bring new and exciting designs, ideas, and manufacturing techniques to categories in need of innovation, and they are consistently searching for dedicated and driven professionals to join and help grow their team. They've got some awesome merchandise from apparel, shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies. You can gear up for the postseason. They got awesome bobbleheads, awesome collectibles, and by fandom, they've got NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, college. They even got soccer licenses, Matt, across the board with Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester City, plus every team in the MLS. And then they also hit the entertainment side of things, and you can live that nostalgic 90s Nickelodeon era where they've got stuff for SpongeBob, Hey Arnold, Ren and Stimpy. They've got DC Comics, Looney Tunes, WWE. The list goes on and on. So go to FOCO.com. Check out the link in the description to get your Phillies overalls. They've got the pinstripes, they got the all reds, and they got the throwback powder blues. Super comfortable. Pockets, too, which is clutch. Shout out to FOCO for hopping on board with Underground Sports Philadelphia and hooking me up with the overalls. So go get yours for the postseason, and let's paint the town red. The NL East run differential looking a little some like this. The Atlanta Braves, who clinched the division, and everybody making a big stink when the Braves clinched the division at Citizens Bank Park, and the Phillies putting up the congratulations thing. That's just common practice in baseball. The Astros did it last year for the Phillies when we clinched there. So, I mean, it's normal. I had no issue with it. It's, tip of the cap. Well done.
Part of me hates it, but I
understand
it.
The inner fandom hates it, but hey, the Astros did it for us. The Astros went on to win the World Series a couple weeks later, maybe,
Gentleman's game.
We go back and do the same thing against the Braves in the postseason.
Sure would love that.
Braves at 97-55, 4-6 in their last 10. Kind of limping towards the end of the season. They've scored 880 runs this year.
Yeah, they're really limping. 3 away from 100 wins. They're really just, you hate to see it.
You
honestly,
hate it. They've scored 880 runs, given up 662. Gives them a plus 218 run differential on the year. The Fightin' Phils at 83-69. They've scored 746 runs this year, second most in the division, giving up 673 for a plus 73 run differential. The dumbest team in Major League Baseball, the Miami Marlins, at 79-73. They've scored 634 runs this season, the fewest in the NL East. and they've given up 671 for a negative 37 run differential, and they are playing at an expected win-loss of 72 and 80. The New York Mets at 70 and 81. You hate to see it. You just hate to see it. One more game, and they're finishing below 500 on the year. Just
What a joy.
right into the veins, baby. They've scored 664 runs this year, given up 682 for a negative 18 run differential. And then the stolen franchise, Washington Nationals, 68 and 85. They've given up 790 runs on the year, scored 659, which is hilarious that they've scored more than the Marlins and almost as many as the Mets. But they have a negative 131 run differential on the year. Still on Rockies 1K watch as they quickly approach giving up 900 runs on the year. They're at 893 with a series coming up against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley.
I see. Now I kind of need the Cubs to win. Yeah. So now I'm kind of back in, but I think the dream's dead. Unfortunately, I think it's the magic number is like 12 a game. I think
something like that, which would be nice, but they've given up 893, have only scored 678 for a negative 215 run differential, the worst in the National League, worst record in the National League by far. And then we kick it to the other team in baseball in the 800 club that we thought was going to be first there, but not so much. The Oakland A's at 46 and 106.
Shout out to the Las Vegas unhoused team that were to play baseball. Awesome.
879 runs against, have only scored 550 for a negative 329 run differential on the year. The Kansas City Royals and Chicago White Sox have also surrendered over 800 runs this year. Just a wild time. And then the only other teams to have clinched postseason spots since we last recorded, the Dodgers won their division, so NL West champs. They are in the postseason. And then two teams in the AL East both clinch playoff spots before anybody else. The Baltimore Orioles headed back to the postseason for the first time in what feels like forever. Mm-hmm. They are sitting at 95 and 57.
2014, I think they were.
It was in that like
2013,
2013 to like 2017 window, I think they had with the Machado, Adam Jones, Chris Davis, who they're still paying boatloads of money to. Era. Shout out to the boy Cole Irvin though on that Baltimore Orioles team. He's going to the postseason. Tampa Bay Rays at 93 and 59. They're going back to the postseason. They're also getting a new stadium. They got the renderings for a new stadium. They're staying in St. Petersburg, so a lot of fans kind of annoyed by that. But they put the renderings out, Matt, and in part of the photo, you see like fans walking into the stadium. There's a fan wearing a Wander Franco jersey.
We still don't have any clarity on that, do we?
No.
I don't think that's...
Maybe he's back for the postseason.
Yeah, well... tainted World Series.
He's eligible for that.
Unbelievable.
Saw the Kobe and Shaq meme being used for Wander Franco and Julio Urias in the Prison League.
Jesus.
Very, very fitting that the two teams that played in the Mickey Mouse World Series have scumbags on their team.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Checks out. Also hilarious that the Twins are 81 and 72 and still have not clinched their division yet. The Detroit Tigers are still alive in the division at 70 and 81 by one game. Same with the Cleveland Guardians at 72 and 81. I guess claiming Angels players didn't work out too well for them.
What a dumb division. Truly.
The Phillies would be winning that division right now.
Yeah. We're talking about a magic number for the division rather than dumb wild
They'd be
card.
pretty close to winning the AL West, too, because that's a division that nobody wants to win still.
Yeah.
Houston Astros have a half-game lead on the Seattle Mariners and Texas Rangers.
It's tight. It's a tight race, too.
And the annoying part about that, because nobody wants to win that division and everybody's staying alive, it's keeping the stupid-ass New York Yankees alive.
Just kill them. I mean,
just
honestly,
end
just
them.
Put them out of the misery, please.
End them.
It's over. It's never been more over than it is now.
Start spreading the news. But there is your NL East and MLB run differentials brought to you by our pals over at FOCO. Let's shift gears from baseball to the gridiron. It's brought to you by our pals over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light lager, just 120 calories, 4.1% ABV, 8 grams of carbs. The best light beer out there. Use the all-new and improved Kenny Finder. CU's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia area. They got Kelly Green tailgate shirts that look absolutely spectacular. They're a limited edition, so go grab those up before they're gone on their website, kenwoodbeer.com. Got to be 21 or older to do so, and of course, please drink responsibly. Eagles, big time, victory last Thursday. Got Monday Night Football on the horizon against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Only matchup in the NFL this week that will involve undefeated teams.
Who saw that coming?
And the Buccaneers, it's as Deion Sanders has been saying, they made it personal, man, because they are celebrating Rondé Barber at halftime and inducting him into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Hall of Fame against the Eagles.
Did they not learn anything from the Tom Brady halftime ceremony? I mean, come on.
We're just here to crash halftime ceremonies.
That feels really targeted.
Yes.
I have to say that.
100%.
How long has Rondé Barber been retired?
Let's find out.
Like, he's just now getting put in the Hall of Fame? Are you kidding me? I feel like he's been retired for 16 years. You're just now getting around.
Rondé's final season was 2012.
Okay, so he's been retired
A decade.
11 years.
Over a decade.
You couldn't find any other time. The Buccaneers sucked for like 9 of those years.
Literally had a nice little gap of like 8 years before Tom Brady came to town.
Yeah, man. No.
Couldn't have distracted from Jameis Winston's 30-30 season.
No, you don't distract from that. That's amazing. But you can distract from, I don't know, who are they throwing out? Jeff Garcia? I don't even remember.
Unreal. It does feel targeted. Like, let's just wait until we play the Eagles again. And
so messed up. I don't think it's their first home game of the season.
I don't know.
Like, it's not even like, it's first opportunity we had. Is it? I honestly don't know.
It is. Their home opener was last week.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure they played the Bears at home. What? What is happening? So
clearly targeted. So hopefully the Eagles use that as a little bulletin board material. But the fun part about this is the Buccaneers look like a pretty serviceable team. They have talented weapons, and it's going to be a big test for an Eagles team that unfortunately has some injuries that you're going to have to battle through. It seems like Avonte Maddox might be done for the year, unfortunately. And you're going to have to make some adjustments and changes, and the Eagles did that on special teams this week. They finally have a new punter.
Yeah. I don't know how to, properly rate punters. I do know that when one gives me anxiety when I see him, I know that that's probably not a good punter, Yeah.
It's one of those things, too, that if your punter who everybody was calling to get rid of last year comes back and then switches his number to an iconic franchise figure, it might be time to pack it up.
Yeah, I think someone has to have a private conversation. Listen, but you're not that guy, pal.
You're not that guy. Braden Mann, the new Eagles punter. So at least hopefully they'll have some better field position switching if they need it from special teams. But, I mean, you're going up against two of the best receivers in the NFL, arguably, with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And Baker Mayfield just looks very, very comfortable.
He is just a little tyke who's just out there to really prove a point. It's so interesting because he, throws his body on the line. Yet, I don't think I've ever seen a teammate, sometimes, quarterbacks especially, they'll stretch out for the first down, maybe take some contact. The teammate is always there, shoving the other player that did it, or there's someone always kind of hyping up. No one does that for Baker.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable.
It does feel like he is on a mission, and with every, pass and every, positive thing that happens for the Buccaneers this season, it flips in the other direction for his former team that drafted him number 1 overall, which is very, very funny. Because Baker's got to be absolutely thrilled that team decided, hey, we're going to give up on you. We're going to go break the NFL salary cap, get a guy who has been allegedly accused of dozens of sexual assault crimes, and I'm just going to go down to Tampa after being used as essentially just a body fill-in for the Rams last year, and I'm going to play with good players.
I think it is, they talk about the curse of the babe and all that. I think we might have the curse of the Baker here. I think maybe Cleveland has just really doomed itself. I mean, it's already a cursed sports city as it is. So that's the thing, is like, you can't be messing around like this if you're a team in Cleveland. Like, you cannot, and you already have enough of the bad karma and whatever spiritual, like roulette wheel that determines sports city luck. You already have enough of that. I don't know why you would invite more by making such a clearly antagonistic move towards whatever karma exists on the planet. But yeah, it does feel nice to watch Cleveland's downfall. I'll say that.
Yes.
I mean, I saw this too. I saw the potential Deshaun Watson burner account on Twitter.
I did see that too.
Fantastic. That's fantastic news. Honestly, just the best. You know what sucks is Nick Chubb is the one that like has his knee destroyed.
Yeah. For the second time.
Can
in
I
his
just
life?
be totally honest? It's like in Walk Hard Do It. Like, wrong kid died that day. Honestly, wrong guy had his knee turned the wrong way. Really should have been Deshaun the whole time. Just like it should have been you. Should have been you. If there's anyone who cosmically deserves this, it is you.
We are all collectively the Yu-Gi-Oh meme. Should have been him.
Like, I didn't listen. I'm not one to wish injury, but like, if there is going to be an injury, it's that guy.
Yes.
It's that guy. It's that.
You are that guy.
It's not Nick Chubb. What did he do?
Back on the Eagles front, though, DeAndre Swift named NFC Player of the Week on offense. Rightfully so. I mean, what a home debut for DeAndre Swift. Was absolutely electric and just shows the versatility that this Eagles backfield has. Kenneth Gainwell didn't play on Thursday. DeAndre Swift steps up, gets 28 carries, and I know people are concerned about, the passing game for the Eagles and, Jalen not looking like Jalen, quote unquote. But when the Vikings are playing this weird cover zero, shifting into a Tampa 2 defense that is like disguising things and making Jalen uncomfortable, you saw it on the interception he threw, but they're giving you running lanes out the wazoo for DeAndre Swift to just barrel through, giving you lanes for Boston Scott to barrel through. Why would you go away from what's working? And I commend, Brian Johnson, Nick Sirianni for just being like, yeah, the running game's working. We're going to stick with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this Eagles team did last year, too, was like one of their best qualities offensively was that they can beat you in so many different ways. They didn't have to throw the ball all the time to get you, right? And they were really efficient when they needed to be. And you had a historically efficient running night for DeAndre Swift. Yeah, you're right. Why would you turn away from that? Yeah, it was kind of the game that we expected it to be honest. We're talking about a little bit more back and forth and probably a little more high scoring. Both teams dealing with some defensive issues, especially some injuries too. And you picked up a few more. By the way, what is up with the torn pecs this season in the NFL? I swear, there's like 5 or 6. I feel like I hear like one guy with a torn pec every year. And it's always like it's like an edge rusher or something, like a lineman. It kind of makes sense. There's like 5 or 6 guys that are like done for the season with a torn pec muscle this year.
Insane.
Like, I didn't know if it was just me, but I feel
it
like
feels like the injury, like the higher end injuries are at an all-time high to start a season than what we've had in years past too. And I know a lot of players have spoken about how, that have been in the league for a while, they feel like it is, not being able to play in the preseason. You're not getting live reps, and you're coming in, and week 1 is almost like your first time getting full-time game action, and your body's not fully prepared for taking hits and cutting certain ways and moving around the way that it does. I don't know what it is, but, between the ankle injuries we've seen, obviously Aaron Rodgers with the Achilles injury, the torn pecs, unfortunately Nick Chubb's injury, There's been some catastrophic injuries through 2 weeks of this NFL season already, and who's to say if it's gonna stop? It probably won't because it's the NFL, but it feels early on there's a lot of crazy injuries happening.
Yeah, definitely. And it sucks to see too. You want everyone out playing.
Jason Kelce was on the Pat McAfee show today, talking about Travis Kelce, obviously, but also talking about how last season he played a majority of it with a high ankle sprain. He hasn't given up a single pressure this season, and he didn't allow a single QB hit all of last year, all with a high ankle sprain that he said was around a grade 2 or grade 1A high ankle sprain.
There's a different world. What does he call the Toradol? He has like a name for the Toradol.
You're right.
It's like his T pills or something.
Yeah.
Like he's always which is awesome. You love to hear about the very casual and rampant use of painkillers within NFL. It's awesome. It's like the Zach Taylor story. Talk about get like the catheter so he can like not bleed all over himself during the game. It's awesome, man. Just this sport is just really something else.
Jason Kelce also said he's gotten a keg every offseason from Coach Nick Sirianni to help him convince him to come back and play. And then he was on WIP this morning and basically confirmed yet didn't confirm the news story that is just taking the internet by storm that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are dating.
I mean, honestly.
Said he was joking, but he said he hopes Travis is having fun.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like the Madden curse to Taylor Swift. I don't know if it's like a good or bad thing. I know it usually just it ends in a breakup. I don't know that the men that she's dated have ever had bad experiences afterwards. Like something. It's not the Castellanos kind of situation. So I guess there's no harm if that's what's going on here.
So we'll see. If that transpires, and I don't think we've ever gotten. I think it's been since LeBron James when he was a free agent before he went to the Lakers, where we got more rampant coverage of a non-Philadelphia athlete than we have over the past couple of weeks with Travis Kelce.
Well, it's a weird thing where like people like to pretend Taylor Swift is like a local. She's like not.
She's from Reading.
It's not even that. She wasn't even like. Then she moved to Tennessee. Like I don't know. Like I guess technically, but not really.
Because she confirmed she's an Eagles fan during.
Yeah, I mean that's cool.
Her
That's
tour.
nice. Well,
that's when everybody lost their minds.
I'm gonna claim her, but
people forget Taylor Swift sang, I think the national anthem at the 2008 World Series.
She did. And
that's her true claim to fame.
Right. That's how I always remember her. That's
World Series jacket.
That's the fearless Taylor Swift right there.
That was short shorts, bleachers, Taylor Swift, baby. But I mean, Jason Kelce.
No, the bleachers guy just produces her. He's like, that was Matty Healy, different guy, different white alt rock guy. I can see how that
got confused there. Eagles Tampa Bay is going to be, I think, a very fun game. The way the Buccaneers have been playing this year to start the year has been very good. They've been very solid, both offensively and defensively. They also beat the Vikings in week 1. And, you have an Eagles team that hasn't even really scratched the surface, I think, of the potential that they have. You're getting James Bradbury back this week. It seems like Kenneth Gainwell's on a track to play as well. So you're getting some guys back, which is good. But you're going to have to play a very close to complete game against Tampa Bay with the way that they're playing right now to come away 3-0, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, like we mentioned, Tampa Bay, good team. Offensively going to test the Eagles for sure because, like you said, Bradbury might be back, but even still you have some injuries that you've been dealing with there. I will say it's going to be the best pressure that Tampa Bay has faced so far this year, and Baker's a quarterback that if you can pressure, you can expect to make some bad decisions. So I do think there's avenues there. I think you have to trust this Eagles team that they're still just a very good team, and they've found ways to win so far this year. They've had a 10-day, mini bye, and maybe some of the issues that we've seen so far this season get resolved, and you have a great Monday night performance. Sure hope so.
Would love to see it. hopefully, things bounce the Eagles' way and get some guys back healthy. And I think the other positive is Jalen Carter has lived up to the expectations so far through 2 weeks. He has been a force. He is the favorite to win Defensive Rookie of the Year right now through 2 weeks. And it's very exciting, that the Eagles have, not a changing of the guard per se, but you have your core four still intact with Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, and Brandon Graham. But you also brought in, this next generation of Eagles players that you're hoping will be here for a long time. And Jalen Carter, I think, is going to be a core piece of that youth movement for the Eagles, and he's as advertised. And it's just very fun to watch how seamlessly and how effortlessly he can get after the quarterback.
Yeah, he's been. It's just, you probably got the best player in the draft.
Yeah.
And, there was obviously off the field concerns with him, but it's special when you get to. And that was the great part about being able to pick where the Eagles did, is that you get a talent that a team coming off a Super Bowl loss probably does not typically get to just add on a rookie contract.
Shout out the Chicago Bears. And maybe that was the start of their demise, because when we got done our broadcast today, I don't know if you've caught up on the Bears news today.
Who knows what's true, what's not true at this point, but I can say it's not good.
It's not great.
From afar. And it's never good, too, when your quarterback is bluntly saying that it's the coach's fault that their team sucks right now. I like that he doubled back, and he has been because I've regretfully just drafted him in fantasy in one of my leagues, and I just panicked. Everyone else was taking quarterbacks, and I was like, he had big games last year. I've been following Justin Fields more than I've kind of wanted to this year, and he has taken responsibility for that. But he did double back a little bit and say, I got to be better too. But he was very blunt. He was asked why the team isn't doing it. I was like, you got to ask coaches. All right, awesome.
I also love that. I feel like I've known this forever, but people are just finding out that former Chicago Bear Charles Peanut Tillman is an FBI agent.
Yeah, he's Agent Peanut.
Yeah.
CSI Peanut.
And Ian Rappaport has since come out and said that the Bears defensive coordinator, who resigned this morning, did not have his house raided by the FBI. Peanut Tillman is not involved. And it's not great.
That's a brand new sentence, I think, to be honest. I think those words have never been strung together.
Gotta love it.
Hey, 4 design runs for Justin Fields.
It's the domino meme.
Just a guy
Cody Parkey double doink.
Break off an 80-yard run for a touchdown. Let's just never run him. Let's never try that. Awesome.
It's Cody Parkey's double doink against the Eagles in 2018 has led us to this.
It's just the birth of Rex Grossman. Would be that'd probably be where you start.
Smoking Jay Cutler.
Bring him back.
Oh, man. From the NFL, we head to Fiji, Matt, and it's brought to you by our pals at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. Guys, they got the best sunglasses, blue light plus glasses, and prescription lenses for a fraction of the price of the big eyewear companies. Plus, Tomahawk Shades partner, Tyson Apostle, ever heard of him? Former Survivor legend. Part of the Tomahawk Shades family as well. You guys can go to tomahawkshades.com or download the app in the App Store or Google Play. And for downloading the app, you can claim a free pair of sunglasses. It's that simple. Tomahawkshades.com or in the app. When you go to checkout, use code USP for 25% off your order from our pals at Tomahawk Shades. They've been rocking with us for years now. So go support a company that supports us. Tomahawkshades.com or the Tomahawk Shades app and use code USP for 25% off your order. It's Survivor season, baby. We are a week away from heading back to Fiji for 90-minute episodes for Survivor 45. We're going to go through the cast here, look at potential prospects for our winner pick, where back-to-back years, 41 and 42, or I should say back-to-back seasons, we picked the runner-up. Since then, haven't gotten to the finals, but we've gotten close. We've at least made the merge every pick. But how are we feeling about Survivor 45, man?
I'm just going based off of headshots. That's how we have to do this, because you don't get that much from their little bios that they give to the press. It's so impossible to tell. I mean, it's the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing is to just look at a bunch of of headshots and figure it out. I will say, I don't know why. I am looking at, parade.com. Come on, you got to do better than this. I'm looking at Kendra McQuarrie. Here's my logic. She's a bartender. I can remember in early seasons of Survivor when it was social game now is different to social game back then. Social game back then was very much, do people like you and can you talk to people? And that was kind of it. You didn't have to really be like scheming like you do now with a social game. Bartenders have to talk to people a lot and work in like a crazy environment. And I kind of just like when I just feel like a bartender, it's kind of like being a firefighter, and that like I think there are bartenders that have done well in Survivor in the past. So, I'm thinking Kendra maybe. That's, you got to go with your gut sometimes. I scrolled past her. I was like, you know what? I think she's got something. Could she be the first out? Maybe.
We will we'll read off the names and occupations and locations for each contestant this season. We do have our first returning player because Bruce is back after one episode last season where he was medically evacuated. He is on this season. But here are your Survivor 45 castaways. We have Austin Lee Kuhn. He's 26 from Chicago, Illinois. He's a business student. And we have Brandon Donlin from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 25 years old. He's a content producer. I'm just like him for real. Then we have Brando Meyer. He's 22 from Oak Park, California. He's a software developer. Then we have Bruce Perrault coming back from last season from Warwick, Rhode Island. He's a Navy veteran and insurance agent, 46 years old. Then we have Dianelis D. Valladares from Miami. She's 26 and she's in sales development. Drew Basil, who's 22 from Birmingham, Michigan. He's a grad student. Emily Flippin from Washington, D.C. She's 28 and a financial assistant. Hannah Rose, she's 32 from Baltimore, Maryland. She's a counselor. We have Jake O'Kane. He's 26 from Hanson, Massachusetts. He's a law school graduate. And then we have Jay Maya, just going single initial on the first name. 23, she's from the Bay Area, California. No specific destination, but she's a singer-songwriter. Then we have Julie Alley, who I believe is the elder of the cast this season. She's 49, Nashville, Tennessee. She's an associate attorney. Then we have Caleb Geberwald. He's 28 from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, sales and marketing coach. Then we have Kutara Tops from New York. She's 34 and a civil rights lawyer. Kelly Nalbandian from New York as well. She's 29 and she's a nurse. Then we have Kendra McQuarrie. She's 30 from Salem, Massachusetts and is a bartender. Then we have Nico Alsup from O'Fallon, Illinois. He's 30 and a martial arts instructor. Then we have Sabaya Broderick from Decatur, Georgia. She's 27 years old. Truck driver and U.S. Marine Corps veteran. And then we have Sean Edwards, 34 years old, from Provo, Utah, and he's a school principal.
Yeah, quite the lineup,
quite the cast,
quite the crew we got rolling in here.
I like your theory on Kendra. Obviously, Northeast, like we always scout for. Is anybody else standing out potentially?
One thing I like about, gotta find names here. Gotta learn names. Caleb. First of all, I like that Caleb is with a K. Always kind of like someone who's, for whatever reason, parents decided instead of just a C, got to be a K. He's wearing cool pants. In his, they're
he's wearing cool pants.
Like mismatched colors, kind of, but like the colors are on the other side of the. It's cool. I like that inclusion. He's in software sales. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming he's got to talk to people a lot. If you're selling stuff, so. Going by occupation, I guess, is always kind of a challenge. But yeah, I like his pants, which is just as good as a reason as any.
I know we always look to at the castaways, and we try to see who they liken their game to from survivors of the past.
Never compare yourself to Boston Rob
or Sandra.
Yeah,
that's a number one red flag. Keep pulling up the wrong article here. Here we go. So here we go. Austin Lee Kuhn. He is the grad student from Chicago. He says he identifies with Owen. Pretty recent player. His reasoning: long hair, Asian, love the outdoors, never say die attitude. I think I'll play most like Jay and Wendell. Their games revolved around forming genuine connections that led people to keep them in the game even when they were huge threats. On top of that, I have the intelligence to make big strategic plays as well as the physicality to win clutch immunities. Also, like them both, I too have a crush on Michelle.
Just trying to find one that's like an interesting. Some people pull really like bizarre like ones out. Like someone.
D saying Jesse, who is a fairly new player, is very
like
interesting.
Brando. First he said David Wright. Then he said Yao Man. What a deep cut.
Yeah.
Going all the way back to Yao Man. Like, I respect it though. Man.
We have
got a Kelly Wentworth shout out, an Aubrey Bracco shout out, both from
somebody saying their personality is extremely similar to Cass.
Yeah, I mean that's
tough.
I mean, know thyself though, you know, like honestly. Part of the game I think is knowing yourself. I'm a little worried about Jay. Not comparing herself, but wants to be Parvati. She said, not only were we both, but this is, you know what? I'm going to go with this. Not only were we both named after powerful Hindu goddesses. So she does have that going for her. And she give a Marianne shout out, another like recent player. But you just kind of want to steer away from the big guns. You don't want to be invoking Parvati, I don't think.
Drew Basil also currently living in Philadelphia. Shout out.
A lot of Cochran Penner love.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree, but it's just, I don't know, some deep cuts here. I guess
we got
Cochran
a Suri shout out
cuts
from
in all seriousness, but
from Julie.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I don't know who I would pick as someone I would want to.
Got a lot of Wendell love too.
Yeah, or that I would identify myself with, but I appreciate the exercise for these people. I appreciate what they're doing out there.
Well, Caleb, great response. I'd love to say Tony, but out of respect, I won't.
And you know what? That's why I picked you as my 1B. That's why.
I respect it. Yeah, a lot of Kelly Wentworth. A lot of Tony love, too. That's another one that you can't really...
Got to be careful.
You got to be careful with the two-time winners being name-dropped like that. This one's fun, too. Kendra, this might be a bonus for you, simply based on vibes. The first player she really connected with is Carolyn from season 44.
I'm so in. I am so in. I've never been more in my life.
She also says she sees bits of herself in a lot of strong female players like Amanda, Michelle, and Kim.
Kim,
so one of your favorites.
I'm so in. I'm telling you, no BS. I did not even read that. I did not read any of her. I just looked at the. I wasn't even on that
reaction.
Website. I am so in.
Do we want the full Kendra rundown here?
We can do the full. Listen, you don't have to join the ride. Like
we always come to a unified decision for the pod pick, and I'm buying in based on.
I'm buying Kendra stock.
She's 31 from Haverhill, Massachusetts. She currently
Love a mass hole.
She currently lives in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Bartender, obviously. 3 words to describe her: outgoing, determined, and enthusiastic. Why did you want to be part of Survivor? I love to challenge myself and put myself in situations to grow as a person. Survivor checks all the boxes for me as far as an adventure goes, and then some. What's one life experience you feel has prepared you for the game? Walking the Camino Primitivo in Spain by myself definitely prepared me for this game. Walking alone over 15 miles in a day in a new country with nothing but my backpack showed me how determined and resourceful I am. Then obviously we read off the players that she most connected with and who she thinks she'll play like. Her reasoning for Carolyn is, like her, I'm not afraid to be myself and let my freak flag fly.
Which is an underused and underappreciated turn of phrase, by the way. Let your freak flag fly. Amazing alliteration. It's so close to saying a slur too. You know that it's like you really
toe the line there.
You really got to think about what you're saying when you say "let my freak flag fly." You were so close to being a homophobe when you say that. You were so close,
and it's the polar opposite type of saying too.
Right? Like it's a chasm between the intent of those words.
I love her authenticity and hope to bring that into the game myself. What will you value in an alliance partner? Loyalty. I would love to find 2 people to go all the way to the end with. Also, I will definitely value someone who is relaxed and grounded to help balance me out. Her favorite hobbies: hiking, rollerblading, studying astrology, reading, camping, cooking for friends, listening to music. Her pet peeve, I'm sold. People who chew with their mouths open, snoring, not saying please and thank you, and when people ask me the meaning of my tattoos.
You know what? I get that. I'll give a +1 for that too.
The accomplishment she's most proud of: completing the Camino de Santiago. Something we would never know from looking at you: that I talk exactly like Drew Barrymore.
Interesting.
Who in your life is your biggest inspiration and why? It's hard to pick just one person because all of my friends inspire me so much and in so many different ways. And why will you be the sole survivor? I will be the sole survivor, spelled S-O-U-L, because I've got moxie. My unwavering optimism, courage, and gut instincts will guide the way to sole survivor. I think I'm in. So there it is.
We're back.
We're back. We're like Texas. We're back. First time pod pick that we have a female winner, and it is Kendra McQuarrie is our 45 pod pick. Hopefully she has success like Deshaun and Mike, gets to the final 3, and then we're just on edge hoping for those votes. But at least get to the merge and keep our streak going for 5 straight seasons.
I believe in her. I believe in you, Kendra.
So we will be doing full-on Survivor 45 and Survivor content on the show. If you're new to the show, we do this every season since it's come back. With Survivor 41, at the end of every episode on Wednesdays, Matt and I dive into Survivor. So if you're a true sicko, come along for the ride. If you've never watched Survivor, come along for the ride. And follow Buffs and Snuffs on Twitter and Instagram. That's where we do all of the updates there. And we're going to have a ton of fun this season and bring the Survivor content to another level. I do believe Sarah commented on the Instagram post with who she was in on. And I want to see if she's on our page as well. She's in on D.
Okay. She's the one that, she also, I think, gave props to Tony in her, I want to say she's from Cuba. Like her family's from Cuba.
She gave props to Tony and Jesse.
Interesting.
We'll have to ask Sarah what her reasoning is there, but we'll be back with Survivor content starting next week, and we'll let you guys know what the schedule will be so Matt and I can fully enjoy the 90-minute episodes for the very first time. We might be shifting the recording schedule around just a bit, not too much, but stay tuned for that, and that's why you got to follow us on the socials, at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI. Follow Matt on Twitter, at Matt Castorina. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow, helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia and our entire catalog of podcasts. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. It really does help. And be a friend, tell a friend to subscribe. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every podcast on our network. Smash that like button, ring the bell icon, comment down below your thoughts on everything. Let us know your Survivor winners in the YouTube comment section. We want to see what you guys are thinking based on headshots alone, and anything else that comes to mind. Leave it in the YouTube comment section. We'll check out the comments and read the best ones and comment your Survivor takes every single week. Be sure to get your merch, phiapparel.co, code underground for 10% off any and all merch orders. And this show is presented by the City of Vineland, and whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's Economic Development Department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 570 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the City of Vineland. For Matt, I'm KB. We'll catch you guys on Sunday, getting ready for more Monday Night Football with the Birds and a whole lot more. Talk about this weekend series against the Mets. But until then, we're getting the heck up out of here, and we are signing off. Peace.